Well, I just went up to Firestone and they checked a whole bunch of stuff for me. Wiper blades, headlights, fog lights, air filter, PCV valve, washer fluid, oil level, power steering fluid, master cylinder fluid level, coolant hoses, belts, tested the battery accessories. So all of that passed. They said I need a new front driver side lower control arm, passenger side front outer tie rod, front hand rear struts with new mounts. There's quite a lot that I will be going over in the future. Obviously some new projects. Why was I at Firestone? Because I got my new tires on. Those are the Mazda 6 wheels with 215/40/17 tires. The tires I'm using are actually prime wells and they do not rub. The drive home was excellent. Other than my obvious, lower control arm and tie rod issues, the tires handled awesome. I already checked back there, no rubbing. Can turn freely, no problems. So this is going up from a 15-inch stock rim to a Mazda 6 17-inch rim. And because of that, you need thinner, low-profile tires. And so I got the 215/40s on PrinceValorum's recommendation because he has this exact same wheel on his 626, unfortunately, that he's not going to have for much longer. He said he's getting rid of his 626 in favor of a Protege, Mazda Speed Protege, something other than a 626. I don't know what it is. Since it's something other than a 626, I don't pay attention. Sorry, Prince. Sorry, I'm just all about the 626, really. 626 MX6. So that's how they look. Look pretty neat. I still have to clean them up. They've still got all the junkyard markings and dirt and stuff, and I still have to clean those up. Unfortunately, the car that I took this from had massive front end damage. And the reason I had front end damage was because the tires were completely bald. And this was probably about 1 week after a major rainstorm. It rained for like a week straight. So I have no doubt that they hydroplaned, the Mazda 6 hydroplaned, crashed the front end. Due to that, one of the rims was actually bent. They said it was warped slightly. And so they put that on the passenger side rear. So I'm going to have to find another rim and replace that and then take it back to them and have them swap those two out. But I didn't feel anything, really. I mean, the way that my control arms and my tie rods are all messed up, my car kind of slides back and forth a little bit anyway. So I didn't notice any difference, really, in the way that it handled. The tires are very quiet, surprisingly quiet. A lot more quiet than I thought. These tires are actually more quiet than the stock ones that I got on there now. I'm really happy with these. This is really neat. It gives the car a completely different look. So these are replacing the stock rims, which are currently in the back seat. I've had those rims, the stock OEM 13-spoke alloys, ever since 1995. They're original to the car. So those are 19-year-old rims that I've never changed out. So it's been 19 years coming, and before I got a new, different set of wheels. So it is obviously very foreign looking to me. I'm not used to my car looking like this. It's going to take me a long time to get used to this. I've owned my car for just about 17 years now, and I've always had those same wheels on. So it's going to take some getting used to, but I think they look pretty neat. The neatest thing about it is that there's 6 Mazda 6 wheels on a Mazda 626, and with the right tires, there's no modification needed to the suspension system. The bolt pattern is exactly the same. The offset is a little different. The stock tires that came on this, that rub, were 215/50s. So 215/45 is cutting it pretty close. 215/40, just right, obviously, because they don't rub. I wasn't squeaking all the way home, so I'm happy about that. And did it help my handling at all? No, not really. The major issue that I had with my old tires was they wouldn't hold air for more than a week. Didn't matter what kind of tires I got on there. The problem was the wheels. The wheels themselves, just over the life of the car, just got beat up so much they just wouldn't hold air. So it's time for me to either find a set of replacement OEMs or find a new set. And I really like the way that these looked on PrinceValorum's car, and PrinceValorum knows that. He helped me a lot in making sure that I got the right tires on here so that I wouldn't have to get spacers. And if you get a bigger tire, like a 215/45 or a 215/50, you're definitely going to want spacers. You're going to have to bring those out, just like ND28s. If you haven't seen ND28's video on his spacers, you're going to have to use spacers to bring those out so they don't rub up against the the side or the top of the strut tower. So why would you want smaller low profile tires? Well, there's two reasons really. One, your speedometer. It keeps the same circumference as the OEM tire with the low profile tires and the bigger rim. That way you don't have to worry about speedometer issues and speeding and getting a ticket. You always want your speedometer to work, right? Right. And the second reason is so that there is not an added cost of needing wheel spacers. Wheel spacers are not cheap. You can get shims. The shim spacers are cheap, but don't recommend those because they're just cheap metal, and people, have had issues with those breaking. Your wheel flies off and then you are in an accident. Easy, done. Wheel comes off while you're at speed, something's gonna get screwed up. You're gonna cause damage, either to yourself, your car, or somebody else. God forbid it happens to somebody else. So don't go with the cheap wheel spacers. Do like ND28 did. Get the hub-centric, really thick wheel spacers. Well, you don't have to get them really thick, but at least get hub-centric spacers. And those are expensive. So that's an added cost if you go with a bigger tire. You don't want to go low profile. And there are many reasons why you might not want to go low profile. Namely, you hit a big pothole and you could damage your rim or damage your tire. There's not a lot of air in those low profile tires. They are not very forgiving. So if you live in Detroit, probably not a good idea to use low profile tires. Their roads are notorious. Same thing as New York, or any major city that has an issue with tons and tons of potholes. Potholes and low profile tires don't mix. So without the added cost of the spacers, I was able to afford this service and just have them swapped out. Now, if I would have needed spacers, you wouldn't see these wheels on the car right now because I'd have to save more money to buy spacers. That's one of the great things about this, and it's why I love the Mazda626.net forums and all the people on there, including PrinceValorum, who has been of tremendous help in allowing me to get new tires that don't leak on my car, even though they're included with different wheels, and one of the wheels just so happened to be bent because of the accident that occurred from the Mazda 6. Oh, and by the way, don't ask me questions about tires or tire sizes or suspensions. I'm the last person to ask about that kind of stuff. If you have tire or suspension related questions, find ND28. ND28. Okay, we got that settled? Don't ask me about wheels. I am not the person to ask. I'm very happy with how things are turning out. I know that these are good wheels. They're going to hold air. I have tires that match the circumference. I don't have to worry about my speedometer issues. I don't have to use additional spacers, and they're not rubbing. So all in all, today is a pretty good day. I'm pretty happy. Pretty happy with how they look. That's pretty neat. Just an update. Cool.